दूल्हे राजा पे किसी ने पॉडकास्ट बनाया ही नहीं, बनाया तो सुना ही नहीं, सुना तो हिट हुआ ही नहीं. Welcome to Has It Aged Well? My name is Abbas. With me is my co-host Urjita.
ओ यार हेलो कैसे हो?
And with us we have a very special guest who I think is almost perfect for this episode. मतलब इस episode के अलावा और बहुत episodes के लिए बुला सकते थे, but I think this is a great way to kick off the series with him. Please welcome writer, actor and overall film nerd, film enthusiast of a specific kind of film. Please welcome Aseem Chandaver. Hi.
Hello guys.
गोविंदा ने पिक्चर बनाई इसलिए ताकि असीम उसके ऊपर रिएक्ट कर सके.
So today we're talking about दूल्हे राजा. और इस फिल्म को लेके और इस सिनेमा को लेके मेरे अंदर बहुत सारे सवाल हैं असीम, which we will नहीं अच्छे सवाल, ऐसा नहीं मतलब ऐसा रोस्ट करने वाले सवाल नहीं यार.
ये ऐसे प्राइम टाइम पे डिबेट होता है ना कि हमें राशन क्यों खत्म
आज
हो रहा
हमारे
है.
पास बहुत सवाल
बहुत
हैं
सवाल
और उनका
है.
जवाब देंगे असीम. But we're talking about Dulhe Raja. Of course, did I mention that? I don't know if I mentioned that.
Yes, you did.
One of the seminal classic films that we've all grown up watching. But I found out a couple of things about the film which I did not notice when I used to watch it earlier. And we'll get into all of that with Aseem right after this short break.
Previously on Varta Lab. After 3 wonderful seasons, Akash and Naveen went their separate ways in search for glory, comedy, and comedy glory. But all they found is long transit time, bureaucracy, and upset stomachs. Now, after 3 years of collecting stories and hustling,
I can't mention. Bullies. There's no need to overact. Bullies.
Akash and Naveen are back at the lab
Let's do it.
with
Stories, we've got stories. They're a little bit of funny and a little bit of December. You wanna hear them? It's got humans. They're sitting in a box and talking bold at Bartholomew.
And we're back. My name is Abbas. With me is Urjita. We are on Has It Aged Well with Aseem. Aseem, let's get down to it. So far we have covered a couple of films on this show. We've done Dil Chahta Hai, we've done Rang De Basanti, we've done Satya. By the time this episode is out, people would have seen this. Satya came out the same year as this film, Dulhe Raja. And we have, हमने इन फिल्मों के बारे में बात की. Has it aged well? What has aged well? What has not? ये वो ऐसा वैसा. And Dulhe Raja. First of all, let me just say I'm a big fan of you and your Twitter timeline.
Thank you.
There is a certain kind of film fandom that I see in you, and of a very specific kind of films. And Dulhe Raja, I think, somewhat kind of falls into that kind of a category. So this is a film, मतलब मुझे याद नहीं मैंने पहली बार कभी दूल्हे राजा देखी. मुझे हमेशा याद है टीवी पे आ रही होती थी तो लगता था अरे दूल्हे राजा.
That's exactly how I discovered
चलो बैठ के
it. That's
देखते हैं.
exactly how I discovered it. ऐसा था कि if you are growing up in an urban environment and if you were like in where I was, गोविंदा के movies देखने में एक shame सा था.
हाँ.
When you were growing up. For some reason, Govinda movies were connected with Tu Mawaliya. And it still is the norm, by the way. Like,
Right.
there are people in my family, मेरे को गोविंदा movies पसंद ही नहीं है.
हाँ.
ऐसा सब. I'm like, what? Like, but why? That happened. So all of us, I think, I watched the full film when I was 18
हाँ.
in 2005. तो मैं बोला यार ये तो अपनी airplane है ये.
Right.
This is our airplane.
Yeah.
This is a Leslie Nelson movie.
Yeah.
Complete. ये अपनी मॉन्टी पाइथन है. इसके पहले ना मतलब जसपाल भट्टी इज द ओनली समथिंग दैट क्लोज टू पाइथन.
Right.
तो बिलीव ही नहीं कर पा रहा था क्या हो रहा है एंड हाउ मच. ऑफ कोर्स तभी I didn't even watch it with the socio-political lens that we can watch it right now with.
Right.
Because post Jeff Bezos world में तो ये movie बहुत ही relevant है.
Right.
This movie has super relevance if
Yes.
it's made today.
Yeah.
And it will be made today. Apparently, like Shah Rukh has bought the rights.
Oh, really?
Shah Rukh has bought the rights, and I don't know who's going to make it. मैं डर गया हूँ. मेरी काफी फट गई है कि if
हाँ.
like अभी जितने रीमेक आ रहे हैं, why are they being made with the same 90s sensibilities और वो इतनी wild क्यों हैं? And neither are like it's too punchliney and stuff. ये this also that's what happened with David Dhawan. That is I was just revisiting before this podcast some of the movies that he's made, and I observed that post Deewana Mastana he lost एक तरह का एक smoothness गया था. I don't know what happened back then. And he said मैं पूरी family को entertain करूँगा instead of just saying I am very confident of the script. He went for that, and that's how Deewana Mastana and Hasina Man Jayegi came. Right. Someone saw what David was, where David was making mistakes, and said, "I'm going to do everything that he's like, checklist बना के पूरा एक पेश किया." And Dulhe Raja was the answer, where everything that was going wrong in some of the last few David Dhawan movies, वहाँ पे it just clicked. It just clicked.
Right. But so I grew up thinking this was a David Dhawan film. And
everybody,
it's only
everybody, because वो sandwich हो गया था ना.
Exactly.
First of all, the realization that कि गोविंदा के movies जो देखता है वो मवाली है, मुझे अभी पता चल रहा है. So now I'm thinking, is my family also मवाली? But I don't know yet. क्योंकि हमारे family में काफी celebrate कर देते हैं.
Yeah, it depends where you are. It really depends where you are, because you grew up like I anyway grew up with people like my cousins and all. Elder cousins used to tease me for what I used to watch, because एक तो वो बड़े हो चुके हैं, उनकी taste change हो चुकी है. They bring VHS for like when you were watching Bandarwaza, right? वो Terminator लेके आता था, and he's like क्या देख रहा है? And he used to actually make me cry, and because I was a fan of Anirudh Agarwal, right? I am a fan of Anirudh Agarwal, and he's not. उसको लल्लू भूत करके नाम दिया था उसने, और मैं रोता था, नहीं यार लल्लू नहीं है, मार खा तो आएगा तेरे को. अरे he there's a scene in Bandarwaza where he punches through Satish Kaul, like punches through Satish Kaul, and like he's powerful, and he breaks a gun. तू क्या बोल रहा है? Terminator better है करके. You grew up with that mentality. Obviously, then you start hating Bollywood. You ऐसा होता है कि you hate everything about it, and then you in the promos and through fans in your school, you're seeing the extremity in some kind, right?
Yeah.
कि वो लोग नाच रहे किसी राजा बाबू के सॉन्ग पे और सब, तो पता नहीं, it got. I also then inherently you start like internalize that hate, right? Because it was made specifically for the working class also, right? So
exactly, yeah.
तो वैसा ही.
So let's talk about that. So like I said, if anybody follows you on Twitter, and I 100% recommend anybody listening to this, please follow you on Twitter
and also Instagram.
So I lost my Instagram, man. अभी उस पे 500 लोग हैं अभी.
So you post clips from these films, which, let's face it, which we classify as B grade or C grade cinema, right?
Yeah.
And it's the section of our film industry that more often than not we try to hide. कि अरे नहीं यार, मतलब ये वो पिक्चर तब बनती थी, अब नहीं बनती है. And then some of these, of course, are very hilarious and funny, and there is that aspect of laughing at them. But I can see that you are totally entrenched in this, right?
मेरा हो गया. The part
because
where
I see sometimes you are posting clips of, मतलब आपने टीवी के ऊपर clip ले रहे हो, and before the person says the dialogue, I can hear you saying the dialogue. अभी इंडिया का मैप दिखेगा देख, stuff like that. So I can see that this is someone who is totally in love with this kind of cinema, and which is very rare to find, because like you said, everything has gone so hi-fi and so polished today that we almost try to hide this kind of cinema. And some of these movies really bring back, मतलब मुझे याद नहीं था कि ये सारी फिल्में मैंने देखी. There's that one clip you always post on Mother's Day of a film where there's this.
Do you know who directed that movie?
No, I do not.
That's David Dhawan.
Oh, really?
But first, tell us about the clip.
I can only explain it to you guys. Please watch this.
It's a film called Andhiya, and if you guys are posting it anywhere, Ultra will get you. For some reason, Ultra वीडियो के पास जो पुलिस है, जो बैठी है, और जो 24 hours, what is that AI? I don't know. So Ultra basically took down my account.
Okay.
So and I feel bad because I have an Ultra shirt at home. Okay, I love them so much कि मेरे पास Ultra का shirt है मेरे पास.
You should just make a video with the song
I
"Tukra
should.
Ke Mera Pyar" with you cutting the
Yeah,
Ultra
I say
shirt.
I've given your channel like tons of money, man. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
But let's set up the clip. So you know the whole Oedipal complex, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
मतलब Oedipal complex is nothing compared to that clip. Like the guy
बहुत ही बड़ा.
is jealous of the couple he sees, a romantic couple. He's like, मुझे इनकी क्या जरूरत है, मेरे साथ तो मेरी मम्मी है, and this stuff.
The film literally starts with them in Lodi Gardens or something. Like this is Prasanjit, by the way. Prasanjit and Mumtaz का last movie है ये. Mumtaz is already looking like she's like, I think must be in her 50s back then.
Right.
For late 40s 50s में. And ये लोग ऐसे लोधी gardens में बैठे हैं या दिल्ली के किसी पार्क में बैठे हैं, and there's one Pandu who comes there and says
who mistakes them for a couple.
And said तुम्हें क्या लगता है, like whatever, and then they say that it's mom and like ये मेरी माँ है, and he's like हाँ करके like David Dhawan wants to establish इनका थोड़ा है माँ बेटे का ठरक है.
Right.
You're like mind blown, bhai.
This is where David unleashes his crazy
And
side.
he did this after Swarg. Swarg is a hit with
Yeah,
Govinda.
yeah, with Govinda.
So ये क्या मजबूरी थी ये फिल्म करनी पड़ी? Did he need चल एक साइड मनी करते हैं? ये क्या था फिल्म? मैं समझा नहीं. I never watched the film. Like आधे घंटे में ये सब है. First आधे घंटे में he is comparing his girlfriend. Like girlfriend comes home. And he's like कुछ तो कमी है तुझ में करके. And he puts his mom's glasses on her and says नहीं चश्मा तो सिर्फ मेरे मामा के चेहरे पे अच्छा लगता है करके. And then he goes into the kitchen where the brilliant scene. ये like I wanted to just meet David Dhawan over this scene.
Right.
Where उसका कुछ गरम कुछ तो boil कर रही है and he just touches it करके ये नहीं before that also she's like before that he's says to his mom कि अरे मॉम मैं आपको हेल्प करूँ. his mom is like नहीं बेटा. एक तो राजा बेटा सिंड्रोम भी है like नहीं बेटा तुझे ऐसे छोटे मोटे नहीं बहुत बड़े काम कर रहे करके. and then he gets like उसको ऐसा जलता है उसका हाथ. she takes it in her mouth and like और वहाँ पे full moment है. And then she remembers like she used to do this to Shatrughan Sinha also like
Oh
ये proper
Yeah, while वो
scene
freeze
है
frame
यार.
हो गया है with her his mouth in her.
Yeah,
his finger
freeze
in her
frame and
mouth.
she like वैसा ही है. उसका
Please tell me Shatrughan Sinha का उंगली ही दिख रहा है.
हाँ of course.
But
He's never
so
done.
what drives you to not hide this, pay the actual respect or homage to this kind of cinema?
So with Andhiya, it's just a bad film.
Right.
It's with all the budget and the good director and जो भी decent script है जो भी वो है, that is unintentionally funny. Like वो है funny
Right,
on its
right,
own.
yeah.
What of course मेरा like I told I keep telling some of my friends that my laughing era is completely gone now.
Okay.
एक वक्त था जब पहली बार मैं the one movie that caught my eye was like late again. I was watching either the 12th के vacation में दोनों दूल्हे राजा and वीराना I watched.
Okay.
And Veerana I watched and of course I was laughing at it, but the first 2 years obviously you buy these movies, you laugh at the effects, you laugh at everything that is wrong. But post ek had ke baad I realized what these guys are doing. Like it's pure filmmaking yaar. It's really whatever happens, they'll get the film made.
Yeah.
Beg, borrow, steal, the film gets made. The stories now, then I found out on how it was done to get to a point, like, and entertain some video parlor
Right.
anywhere, like Bhilai mein
हाँ.
जा रहा है वो film with whatever amount of ये.
हाँ.
I realize what these guys are doing. It's pure filmmaking. You do not get a big budget actor. ठीक है, मैं जो जूनियर आर्टिस्ट है उस फिल्म में वो भी बहुत बार दिख चुका है, उसको मैं लूंगा यहाँ पे. द प्योरेस्ट डेफिनेशन ऑफ अ बी ग्रेड फिल्म फॉर मी इन वन लाइनर. कोई मुझे किसी को पूछना है कि इट्स अ हाई कॉन्सेप्ट फिल्म एग्जीक्यूटेड बैडली. वेरी सिंपली पुट, इट्स अ हाई कॉन्सेप्ट. देयर इज अ मूवी कॉल्ड हैवान. अभी वो उसका साउथ नेम क्या है पता नहीं, बिकॉज इट वॉज अ क्रॉस ओवर मूवी. ओके, इट वॉज बाय अ डायरेक्टर कॉल्ड मधु पुरोहित एंड उसका प्रोड्यूसर पुरुषोत्तम करके बहुत बड़ा फेमस सी ग्रेड डायरेक्टर है. तो उसका है.
By the way, do these directors know that they are being categorized like this, ki B grade, C grade?
मैं बोलता नहीं हूँ anymore उनके मुंह पे. एंड ऑल्सो लाइक इंडस्ट्री फ्रेंड ऑफ माइन आदिश केड़ुस्कर हैज टोल्ड मी तू भी कैटेगराइज मत कर बिकॉज यू डोंट बिलीव इन इट. तो उसको लाइक यू नो देन वो मतलब नहीं, दे जस्ट फिल्म्स. एट द एंड ऑफ द डे दे जस्ट फिल्म्स. सो उस फिल्म में द ईयर इज 2048 और समथिंग. ओके, एंड देयर इज अ साइंटिस्ट हु हैज डिस्कवर्ड अ ड्रग दैट if injected in your body, your body cannot be destroyed. कुछ भी होता तो तू जल भी जाता है तो your body still walking and stuff. That's a great concept.
Right. Yeah.
It's like a Philip Dick वो है यार, ये तो नॉवेल है ये.
Yeah.
तो ये बस उन्होंने badly execute किया है by putting like whatever corn syrup or whatever they had. By putting a Silk Smith song or whatever जो हुआ है. And last में एक scene में when it gets destroyed, somebody has a cure for that body also. So while that happens, बस अभी यार बेचारे उनके पास बजट
नहीं है,
कुछ नहीं है. तो वो जब गन मारता है तो कार रिवर्स हॉर्न का आवाज है. Of course it is funny.
Yes, yes.
It is funny, but it happened. They made sure costume के अंदर fireworks होता है and he explodes and stuff. That is still brilliant. तो मजा आया होगा यार देखने में. मतलब finally the audience who was watching some labor or some कोई देख रहे मजा आया होगा and मुझे भी मजा आया when that happened.
Yeah. If the idea is getting communicated, then I feel it's a
Done.
victory.
Done है. अब walking dead body.
अभी ब्रह्मास्त्र में इतना VFX आइडिया कम्युनिकेट हुआ ही नहीं तो
Exactly.
तो कौन लूजर है कौन
ब्रह्मास्त्र
winner
is
है?
just falling in love with your like never getting out of your idea. मतलब वो वैसा है. ब्रह्मास्त्र and both लाल सिंह चड्ढा are prime examples of how much you keep loving your idea and never dump it even after years. Saying ये उस साल में अच्छा था अब नहीं है. वो वाला syndrome है उसका. So these guys never pandered.
Yeah.
ये कहाँ से आया आइडिया? ये नहीं है. शायद एक they must have seen one Christopher Lee or they must have seen like a
Dracula movie.
Yeah, Vincent Price movie. कहाँ से देखा होगा? But एक तो half of these movies, if you look back now, then when I started to look back, they're all from folklore. Most of them are from folklore.
Right.
The folklore gods, South India ho, yeah, like some of the tribal areas in they're more shrines than temples.
Okay.
And those shrines are very interesting. The
Right.
gods are
The
very
local
yeah,
deities.
the local
हाँ.
deities.
Yeah.
So उस पे अगर ये 300 है एक एरिया में 300 फिल्म बनाई है इन लोगों ने इस पे तो that got my eye. They and the कुछ भी करके फिल्म बन जाएगी भाई. आज क्या है अब्बास आई वांट टू कास्ट इन वन सीन. अब्बास का पेट फाड़ना है मेरे को. आई डोंट नो लाइक आई हैव टू डू समथिंग लाइक
Right.
पर अब्बास का
Get that image out of your head, Urjita. But
ठीक है
anyway.
आई हैव टू रिप आउट ऐसा कुछ है.
I'm just imagining this happening with the sound of a car reverse. फिर लिफ्ट का आवाज.
जस्ट बिफोर रिपिंग हिज स्टमक अब्बास सेड मेरे को जाना है. मेरे को नेक्स्ट शॉट करना है तो और पैसे चाहिए करके. दैट एक्टर इज लेफ्ट. द नेक्स्ट शॉट में इज क्लियरली समवन एल्स बॉल्ड.
Right.
बट वो हुआ है भाई. द स्पिरिट टू मेक दैट हैपन एंड जस्ट repair that fractured area is what is endearing. And after a point I laughed, of course, because everything was on screen is
Of course.
funny.
Yeah.
But it is very 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 वो मजा आता था देखने में.
Yeah, at least they believed in the product.
They
Most
believed in the
people,
product.
Yeah.
It was very democratic. Like the part where I've seen right now, because I've worked on a documentary about this, I've seen absolutely like ADs and third ADs and fourth ADs become directors and they've gone and made and आज भी काम कर रहे हैं. शायद erotica में कर रहे हैं but कर रहे हैं जो भी कर रहे हैं. तो it was a very specific tightly held scene that had its day and it had its क्या बोलते हैं उसको. It had a very specific look. It had a very specific look and feel भी था. एक तरह के same faces would come also,
Right,
but it was
Yeah.
नाइस यार. तो बाद में मजा आई है देख के. तो बहुत ही मजा है. तो यू नो दैट्स द रीजन आई पुट इट बिकॉज इट्स प्योर फिल्म मेकिंग. एंड यार मुझे एक चीज कंप्लीट करके दिखाओ आजकल. मतलब दे डिड इट. यू नो दे मेड इट हैपन. Some of them are, and of course some of them did like उन्होंने एक्टर से भी पैसे खाए और मूवी कंप्लीट किया. बट यू नो इट हैपेंड.
Right. How is the like the availability of these movies now? Because like you said, some of them are getting remastered and because physical media is going away as we see. And another thing is कि आप जब Netflix और Prime पे like even for something like Dulhe Raja, you see Dulhe Raja next to this hi-fi Stranger Things or whatever.
कुछ भी आता है.
So obviously आपका दिमाग वो ज़्यादा पॉलिश चीज़ के ऊपर क्लिक करने का मन करता है rather than पुरानी हवेली और whatever. So where does the availability of such films stand today?
I think all these very little players who have found finally YouTube के थ्रू वो लोग कर रहे हैं. They most parties are now getting their negative rights and मतलब वो negatives डाल रहे वापस in whatever they can. They're remastering it. Some of individual rights holders are looking for like buyers. मैं तो अभी ऐसा हूँ कि if I find the next step in B-grade fandom is that you find a guy who holds the rights, negative rights, उससे negative ले लो. Slowly if you have the money, just like put it for remastering. That's the like I've seen individual Reddit people doing this.
Yeah. So there's this page Bollywood Crypt which is doing a screening of Virana in Bangalore with 4K remaster and all of that. So yeah.
So that's the thing. So these guys, I know a few people who are putting Harinam Singh films in 4K.
Who was Harinam Singh? I'm sorry.
हाँ तो yeah.
This episode is going a little long. We'll come to Dulhe Raja, but I'm really interested in knowing all of this.
Harinam Singh is India's Tommy Wiseau.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Harinam Singh is India's Tommy Wiseau. If you ask me what is that one film that I can like मेरा favoriteest film है, it is Queen Dracula.
Okay.
There are worse films than that. There are better, crazier films than that. एक pristine moment आई थी on this in the entire Indian like cult movie scene, and it is Queen Dracula. Queen Dracula is the first extremely low budget film I saw, and मैं बहुत खुश था वो देख के. बहुत there are very few things that make me this happy, and it still makes me happy.
Right.
I then discovered what happens in a movie this low budgeted. Like what happens. The second definition of a B movie is पहला definition में बोला कि high concept, bad execution, right? The second is कि B movie में जो A movie में साइडकिक था वो यहाँ हीरो बन जाएगा.
Of course.
जो एडी था वो यहाँ डायरेक्टर बन जाएगा. जो सेकंड सिनेमाटोग्राफर था वो वहाँ पे लीड सिनेमाटोग्राफर बन जाएगा. तो पूरा वो दैट कीप्स माइनसिंग इन अ वे. जो आइटम गर्ल थी वो वहाँ हीरोइन है. कैबरे डांसर थी वो यहाँ हीरोइन है. द गर्ल हु वाज द सहेली और समवन शी विल आल्सो बी समथिंग लाइक दैट. या दैट कीप्स माइनसिंग. सी ग्रेड में अगेन ऐसा है कि बी ग्रेड में जो ये था साइडकिक था शायद वो है
हीरो होगा.
देन द एक्ट्रेस इज अनरिकॉग्नाइजेबल. शी उसको तो मतलब शायद पता नहीं कहाँ से उठा है.
Right.
भाजी भाजी करे तो
ऐसे ही. हाँ मैड वैसा ही है.
आप यही डायलॉग बोलोगे.
एंड व्हेन इट केम टू खूनी ड्रैकुला रास्ते से उठा है. आई कुडंट लाइक वेरी फ्यू पीपल वर रिकॉग्नाइजेबल. वेरी फ्यू.
सड़क पे उठा के स्टार
सड़क मतलब नाउ आई मेट हरिनाम. ही इज ऑन व्हाट्सएप विद मी बाय द वे. लाइक the part is where उसने बोला ना मतलब he's completed the film with struggling actors money and stuff, and of course he's gotten beaten for that also. That man has some 16 teeth missing. That's how many times that's how many times he has been beaten. Okay, like it is just crazy. इतना उसने देखे है ना, like whatever.
So you would never clear their fees?
No. हाँ वही. So like आके
ऐसा तो कोई भी फिल्म कंप्लीट कर लेगा.
like so that was like यार मैं क्या बोलूँ उसके बारे में. That man is तो ये पहली 2006 दिवाली I think I saw it. So it's going to be ये दिवाली
16 years.
16 years like yeah वही. It was amazing man. Like starting में एक तो he's for a movie that low the music is awesome वो film में.
Okay.
Awesome. Like the main theme is there's a song, there's a Khuni Dracula theme song. He had the budget for a Khuni Dracula theme song.
Right.
Actors को देने के पैसे नहीं थे. And the first scene, like this is pure. अभी D grade क्या होता है मैं बताता हूँ.
There's D grade also. Oh, wow.
Of course.
हाँ there's D. Khuni Dracula is literally my first D film एक तरफ से. Vampire movie में हवेली जाना है तुम्हें, SL Studios जाना है तुम्हें या whatever like तुम्हारे कहीं गांव में पुश्तैनी हवेली है कुछ भी है. They could not even do that. So garden में सोया है. First scene में garden children's park में vampire सोया है. That's the first shot. Okay. That's the first shot where there is just like a master who like आका आता है and बोलता है कि there's a guy just sleeping in the monster mask like vampire mask. उसको बोलता है कि ये मेरी भतीजी का फोटो है जाओ बस.
Like a Dracula contract killer.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
The first scene है और वो पार्क में सोया है.
हाँ ये कैपिटलिस्टिक वर्ल्ड.
Yeah, I know right.
There is no coffin. वो ऐसे ही सोया पार्क में. भाई ये होता है ये मतलब and he's going in the first scene. I met the actor also Amritpal. He's told me कि ये मेरे मतलब उसके पास तो बंगला भी नहीं था शूट करने के लिए. मेरे घर पे शूट किया करके. The filmmaker has gone to his house. He's given him a check that has bounced. ये भाई कुछ चीजें हुई हैं. And the first scene में when he transformed from the monster to his human mode, the fangs are ulta. He's not even worn them like this. और वो टेक जाता है. टेक जाता है भाई. टेक जाना अलग बात है. There's a movie by Kishan Shah, Kanti's brother. I'm forgetting the name now. मुर्दा या क्या है मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा है. उसमें NG टेक भी गया है.
What is an NG take?
NG take is not good. Like
right.
It's gone. Like the part where he's एक आदमी का मर्डर हो चुका है, मर गया है. You can clearly see him wake up also. Like, and then the murder happens again. This is in the film. This is gone ahead.
Right.
एक और ऐसे कोई औरत मर जाती है. She like ये वापस ऐसे कर रही है. हो गया करके. You clearly see that. You can clearly see that.
Right.
I've just put a clip recently on my Instagram from the movie Khooni Raat.
Right.
Dirty से bathroom tub में एक में scene. Actually, I think I haven't put it. उसमें you can see the camera shadow also going and proper उसमें and she was probably told before like the shot began कि actor आने वाला है and obviously कोई और आया मतलब like कोई ऐसा छप रहा है and वो आया and she's बीच में while she's making out she's like
And it's in the film.
It's in the film. और ये सब and the things you would least expect Queen Dracula. There's one scene in Queen Dracula where someone's यार
is this film on
Victorian ये Queen Dracula is there.
Okay.
I don't know how remastered it is. उसका VCD मिलेगा मैं immediately जाके अभी Blu-ray करवाऊंगा उसको मतलब oh dude उसका Queen Dracula has been stolen from me twice.
Oh damn.
The VCD has been इतना वो cherished movie. उसमें एक scene है where some girl is like just bathing and अभी if this was a actual horror film like Clive Barker और जो भी है या कोई even राम से Victorian हवेली होगी बबल बात होगा ये सब ना वो proper झोपड़पट्टी में बाल्टी से नहा रही है. Okay, they said let's show people also कि तुम भी
हो सकते हो फिल्म में
घोसली माश मतलब एक माशूक आ सकता है और ऐसे कर सकता है. ठीक है वो बाल्टी से नहा रही है and I couldn't believe that happened like she says like करके आता है and he's like दिखता नहीं मैं नहा रही हूँ I could not believe that happened like oh shit. So the movie was absolutely wonderfully and just like endearing in such ways. इसके बाद तो मैं बोला मैं I am going to watch every film there is like कुछ भी मेरे पास आता है. And हरिनाम सिंह has been making वो अभी भी जिंदा है. वो सर्वाइवर यार 89 से बॉम्बे में इधर कानपुरी है and he has a eucalyptus farm there like and कर रहा है यार अभी भी कर रहा है. He's made this उसने ऐसे चीज after this he's made one film that is like ओमदर बदर लेवल है वो.
Okay.
गुमनाम कातिल करके उसके फर्स्ट 10 minutes में क्या हो रहा है मेरे को भी नहीं पता आज तक. He's amazing. He's
cool. So I think we spent a lot of time on. I'd love to sit and do a completely separate episode. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll actually get down to Dulhe Raja and what we love about it. So we'll see you on the other side of this break.
Hello, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcasts Network. On What the Hell Navya, host Navya, along with Jaya Bachchan and Shweta Nanda, wrap up this season and leave us with some thoughts, takeaways, and memories. On All Things Policy, Sachin Kalbag and Karthik Srinivasan talk about how Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter will impact social media and political discourse. On the Filter Coffee podcast, Karthik talks to anchor and editor at India Today, Shiv Arur. They discuss his new book, India's Most Fearless, Part 3, a collection of modern military stories. And on This Round Is On Me, Gauri is in conversation with Keshav Prakash, founder of The Vault. They talk about Keshav's transition from being an ad filmmaker to the world of spirits. Once again, don't forget to visit our merch store on ivmpodcasts.com. We have some exciting stuff for you. Follow us on social media. We are IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you like our shows, spread the word. Tell your friends and don't forget to rate and review them wherever you're listening to them. You'll also find all our shows on youtube.com/IVM Podcasts. And finally, we would like to thank our sponsors this week: Bumble, Kotak Privy League Program, and HDFC Mutual Fund. Thank you for making this possible.
And we're back. Aseem, let's get to Dulhe Raja. It was a really fun conversation that we had. So I was saying that I grew up thinking it was a David Dhawan film. It's not. It's a Harmesh Malhotra film. So you were saying Harmesh Malhotra is a survivor before we started rolling.
And I couldn't believe that the guy who made Nagina and Nigahein both has made this film. How did a drama action director make this with Python-esque confidence and the craziness?
Satire,
the film is a living sketch.
Right.
As someone who loves and writes sketches for a living, मुझे तो ये बहुत ही पसंद आया था. It taught me. I still watch it for just refreshing my mind. It's like the things happening in the film that are unbelievable. It has that freedom of as you said, like a almost a B movie कि वो freedom लेना है हमें
Right.
with
वो
the jokes.
कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं वो मूवी में, कुछ भी बोल रहे हैं. एंड ऑल्सो ये मैंने किसी तो इंटरव्यू में देखा था कि डेविड धवन मूवी, मनोज पावा ने इंटरव्यू में बताया था कि डेविड धवन मूवीज़ कैसे बनाता है. स्क्रिप्ट मैंने पूछा डेविड धवन से, वही स्क्रिप्ट बता, लाइक वो हंसने लग गया, मेरे मुंह पे हंसने लग गया. फिर मैंने वापस सेट पे मैंने पूछा स्क्रिप्ट दो, वापस हंसने लग गया. फिर मैंने गोविंदा को पूछा कि स्क्रिप्ट नहीं है तो क्या करेंगे, मतलब शॉर्ट के बीच में मैं पूछ रहा हूँ कि भाई क्या करना है. एंड देन डेविड इज लाइक कि गोविंदा संभाल लेगा. एंड देन गोविंदा ने संभाल लिया. वो लिटरली खेलते थे एक दूसरे के साथ.
That's literally what has happened. Even
I think he was talking about क्योंकि मैं झूठ नहीं बोलता.
Yes,
This is
yes.
the interview with Samdesh Bhatia.
Yes,
So yeah.
yes.
that is the that film is the performance equivalent of Dulhe. It doesn't have the, of course, but I love that film a lot
Yeah,
also.
yeah.
But it's one of Govinda's best performances. Story wise, obviously, वो लायर लायर की थी, वो थी. And Dulhe Raja had everything right.
Right.
90s वाली the part where gentrification was anyway happening,
Yes.
right? In all of the cities, gentrification हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है. And
I was just thinking that के पहले 10 मिनट में they set up the David versus Goliath वाला thing कि ये
Correct.
5-star होटल है, ये ढाबा है, ढाबा
Yeah.
वाला ने मेरे गांड में दम करके रखा है, मैं
Yeah.
बेच के जा रहा हूँ. That's all you need to know. Yeah.
एंड ऑल्सो लाइक फ्रॉम द गेट गो दोनों के पर्सनालिटी से तुम्हें पता चलता है कि इसका धावा तो बंद नहीं होने वाला है. वो सेटअप ही ऐसे करते हैं. दे नो कि नहीं गोविंदा तो जीतने वाला है. एंड देन टुवर्ड्स द एंड इट अल्टीमेटली बिकम्स लाइक अबाउट सम अदर इशू ऑल टुगेदर.
Correct.
ढाबे के बारे में भूल जाते हैं. एंड मीनवेल गोविंदा जो इतना मेहनत कर रहा है, आई फील लाइक उससे उनको दिखाना चाहिए था कि ही पर्पसली लाइक कादर खान उसने पर्पसली इसको इतना बिजी कर दिया ताकि ढाबे से ध्यान हट जाए.
Correct.
They could have shown that also, but I'm glad they didn't. But in this movie, I noticed this one thing, that the dad doesn't know how to get rid of the guy owning the
Right.
dhaba, Govinda.
Whose name is P.K. Diwani.
Yeah, the kidnappers don't know how to kidnap. The girl doesn't know how to trust people. The villain doesn't know how to cheat. And this movie is a compilation of all the characters who don't know how to do their jobs,
Right.
and that is what makes it funny. Like, did not name one person who did his or her job perfectly in the movie. किसी को नहीं आ रहा है, किसी को समझ में नहीं आ रहा है क्या करना है, सब अपना कर रहे हैं.
बहुत मजा आया यार. अरे like कुछ like the part where one of the best jokes in the film is I couldn't believe that like is the part where you want directly phone लगाता है and Johnny Lever is just on the he's
Yeah,
already
yeah.
on the telephone phone यार
Yeah.
भाई.
And there is a callback to it in the end, which is
फिर भी
so
हुआ.
wonderful. So I was coming to this, like you said, the film is almost like a sketch writing masterclass.
It is.
And there are
Pure sketch है. पूरी
Yeah,
चलती फिरती sketch है.
exactly. And there are mini callbacks within the movie, like the whole thing where Govinda comes to every time he comes to his house, 500 का छुट्टा है क्या, 500 का छुट्टा है क्या.
Yeah.
We see so many, I mean Kapil Sharma and all these places, that's how it happens. कोई नया character आता है तो he has a gag which is recurring through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was thinking about this whole thing, but despite all that, through the whole thing, the whole small guy versus big guy वाला जो theme है, it doesn't go away, right down to the Qawwali competition that they have
बहुत सही है.
with
That
each
was
other.
too random. He's like कि हाँ अभी क्या कर सकते हैं मतलब पूरी मूवी लिख दी. हाँ एंड लाइक कि सर ऐसे सॉन्ग डांस सीक्वेंस तो मस्त ऐसा हुआ ही नहीं, हीरो हीरोइन में ही हुआ. कादर लाइक मेरे को भी चाहिए. लाइक ओके बंदोबस्त करते हैं ना अपन.
That is the beauty of old school writers का ना, एक वो risk taking level कुछ और ही था. They
Right,
said
right.
this can't happen, no we'll do it. Like Yunus Sajawal and all these guys like वो चल करेंगे यार, चल करते ही हैं, मतलब क्या.
I feel like the only thing that drove this movie was that लॉजिक मत यूज करो.
बिल्कुल नहीं कर रहे
स्क्रिप्ट
ना.
राइटिंग लेवल पे लॉजिक यूज नहीं कर रहे. वो अभी वो फोन बैंक को लगाया, कोई जरूरत नहीं थी वो दिखाने की उसको टेलीफोन ऊपर वो बैठा हुआ है. बट यू फील हैप्पी टू सी हिम कि हाँ ठीक है ये भी बंदोबस्त किया है.
It is such a good logicless but organic gag, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
मजा आ गया उससे.
Yeah.
भाई.
एंड
And
ऑल्सो
the-
द फैक्ट दैट उसने एक्चुअली वो टेलीफोन लाइन के ऊपर खड़े बैठे हुए दिखाया. ऐसा भी नहीं कि किसी दूसरे ऑफिस में, लेकिन ना वायर पे बिठा हुआ
अभी
दिखाया
क्या
कि-
सीजी और क्या ना, फोड़ दिया, तोड़ दिया सब. मतलब you would want to like there's one special effects.
जब वो ऊपर के 2 फ्लोर जो
I
फट
also
जाते
went on
हैं.
IMDb to check out कौन किया ये इफेक्ट. like ये इफेक्ट मेरे को देखना कौन किया. But that is so like they made that happen. That is so
Yeah,
Python is
yeah.
like ऊपर के 2 माले तोड़ दो as revenge for like you know
for trying to tear down his dhaba.
Like अभी अगर किसी को if you try to like go with this ideology कि अगर आपको दिखाना हो कोई प्रॉब्लम अगर सॉल्व करना है, सपोज अगर दिखाना, अगर टेलीफोन की जगह दिखाना होता कि मेरे को इसके घर का पानी बंद करना है, तो दिखाते जॉनी लीवर को पाइप काटते हुए और उधर से भी पानी बंद नहीं कर रहा है, वो ऐसे हाथ लगा रहा है ताकि पानी बंद हो जाए.
The best part about slapstick is that you have to make sure in slapstick if you're like there's another Govinda film if written joke ko if you are making alive in physical form na वही तब काम करते हैं slapstick like the part where and you have to make sure it happens like there's another film I think मैं भूल रहा हूँ कौन सा film है
Hero number 1, BV number 1.
Govinda is like kidnapped, okay, and Johnny Lever is a रद्दी वाला डब्बा वाला रद्दी वाला है, बट वो दलेर मेहंदी का बहुत बड़ा फैन है. या
Was it हद कर दिया आपने?
I don't know, I don't think so. तो उसमें basically the kidnapper says कि अरे क्या इसको छुड़ाना तो 50 पेटी लेके आओ. तो रद्दी मतलब 50 पेटी genuinely लेके आता है. Yeah, it's literal difficult to see on paper, but they made it happen, right? तो वो बहुत ही ये होगा. इसके लिए शायद से that's why they went like very saying script तो है. I was just telling Urjita actually about you write one bit of the script,
right?
And then you just leave it to the actors. ये बहुत इनके साथ बहुत होता था. Like Govinda, Kadar, you couldn't dictate at one point.
I was just thinking of the triumvirate of Johnny, Kadar and
it's the highest
Govinda.
point इनका
Exactly.
in that sense.
The whole every time there is a conversation between Johnny and Kadar where he's trying to plan कि अब मैं इसको कैसे गिराऊं, and every Johnny is only cutting his own his master's ideas कि नहीं ऐसे नहीं होगा, आप ऐसे कैसे कर दोगे, and the whole thing तू मेरी तरफ है उसकी तरफ है, that running gag throughout.
It's a very beautiful thing because manager तो ultimately भाई blue collar है, तू किसको ये कर रहा है, मतलब वैसा ही ना.
And like you said, it all feels so organic. So I mean today when I see attempts at comedy they feel a little forced कि आप मतलब forcefully
belief ही नहीं आती ना.
Exactly.
What's happening right now is tick mark cinema. I call it tick mark cinema. तो भाई आज वो लिखते हैं हम लोग आजकल ये भी चल रहा है ना तो ये भी डालते हैं, मतलब वो डालने की जो आदत पड़ी है ना हमको, tick mark cinema बहुत हो रहा है अभी. You put one token character, there is no belief and people think you can cross that. Audience clearly when they see a material like that on screen, तो उनको पता है कि ये इसने मतलब वो conviction से नहीं लिखी है या दिखता है ना.
I think the last comedy film that Bollywood made with conviction was 3. उसमें वो काफी organic flavor आया था.
मस्त था वो. यहाँ पे भी दुल्हे राजा का वही है कि दुल्हे राजा का first वो है कि I think the director was seeing what's happening in our cities. Like this Govinda, you have to remember, is the comic version of Mithun from the 80s.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that?
Mithun was the
workers
hero, the
idol.
Yes, idol.
Yeah.
He fought like there is a song in I'm forgetting the movie now. There's a song called like Salam Seth अपने लायक काम सेठ, आप खाए मुर्ग मुसल्लम, हम अपने लिए राइस प्लेट. That described Mithun in the 80s. उसी का the funnier, the more
light-hearted version
was Govinda. That had to also come out.
Correct.
So I think Dulhe Raja is the most crystalline moment of like everything Govinda represented
coming together.
David Dhawan's sensibilities also represent. सब एक टाइम पे फट करके perfectly आ गया वहाँ पे. And I think it's very relevant today that this movie matters. Like when mom and pop shops are being destroyed.
Correct. Yeah.
When the little guy, it is one of the most tragic sights.
Yeah, even for buying sabzi or ordering it from
the
an
most
app.
Tragic sight in the pandemic is your neighborhood hotel shutting.
Yeah.
वो मेरे से झेला ही नहीं गया. I got damn emotional. Like मेरे को अभी भी याद है, like when the pandemic started and one of the Chinese hotels था नीचे and it had just expanded and like just shut now. बहुत ही होता है. McDonald's होगा यार, Pizza Hut होगा, any other shop will be there. What does a hotel do for a person ना, मतलब the part where waiters later become managers, वो सब एक साइकिल है. ढाबा में भी वही साइकिल है. वो साफ करने वाला बच्चा हो जाएगा शायद. तो that level का भी ये था, like and he probably saw that, like cities being gentrified and Bombay का भी वो शायद एक sting था to the director also, saying this is what's happening in Bombay ultimately, so let's make a thing on that. Comedy movie करने की वो तो है ही, Govinda
Right.
will make it
Of
happen.
course.
So
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
do this first.
Yeah.
So I think when it's made today, if it's made today with Shahrukh and stuff, I hope, how do they infuse it? How do they?
That's true.
We have forgotten how to make slapstick now.
Yeah.
We have forgotten how to make slapstick anymore. Like we think slapstick is loud. Problem ये है कि we think slapstick is loud. Slapstick is a very smooth physical joke.
Correct. Yeah.
The tragic of comedy right now is that it has become, we have forgotten how to put like jokes on screen. We have forgotten. Like,
Why do you think that is?
because एक तो writers don't mandate भी ऐसा होता है कि आप you write relevant jokes, you write WhatsApp jokes. अभी ये भूल भुलैया में first joke ऐसा एक था, it's clearly a written joke that has gone ahead.
Right.
And like I want to watch the movie, I'll watch the full movie. I don't want to judge it before that.
Yeah.
But अभी recently
I watched it.
How is it?
Bhul Bhulaiya 2 bad. Yeah, the story gets thoda
Bhul
convincing.
Bhulaiya 1 is actually a very extempore movie.
Yeah.
It's a very extempore
Yeah.
movie if you think about it, like how the script is going. पता चलता है कि Akshay has read it once and said यहाँ पे ये कर सकते हैं क्या?
हाँ.
What if written something?
Yeah.
यहाँ पे ये कर सकते हैं, like the part where that is वो ऐसा कर रहा है,
Yeah.
and then he
Yeah,
scares
yeah,
her.
yeah.
I don't think that was written.
Correct.
Yes.
वो लिख ही नहीं पाओगे आप.
And also I feel like they also have so many jokes on the spot. वो करते भी like अभी for
Correct.
example परेश रावल जब भी वो आता है the first 10 minutes में जब भी वो मंडी में आता है
हाँ.
and then वो अभी वो उसको वो छोटा सा मोनोलॉग करने की कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी वहाँ पे कि इंग्लिश में दिखती भी बिल्ली है भी बिल्ली, वो पूरा जो बोलता है ना इंग्लिश में CAT कैट होता है, कैट का प्रोनाउंसिएशन ये एंड मतलब बिल्ली, बट हिंदी में होती भी बिल्ली है, लिखते भी बिल्ली है, द होल मोनोलॉग, यू रिमेंबर दैट राइट? सो इसका मूवी से कोई संबंध नहीं था. लाइक
Correct.
फिल्म क्रिटिक्स वुड आल्सो आर्ग्यू कि ये चेकऑफ्स गन का लॉ ये पास नहीं करता, ये क्या है, ऐसे कैसे, हाउ दिस दैट, बट स्टिल इट जस्ट मेड फन बिकॉज एस्टैब्लिश भी हो रहा है उसका कैरेक्टर. सो लाइक यू सेड इट वाज नॉट टिक मार्क सिनेमा. इट जस्ट लाइक
Is there a point where you think after which this whole tick mark cinema format came into play, or we went more towards that side? Is there a
Recent times only. It's after the OTT came here. I think
Okay.
I was recently watching a video by, I can't remember on which channel. It was about the VFX industry and their revolt right now with like
yeah,
the
they're
timelines
overworked.
and
Yeah,
Netflix and Marvel being the villains
Yeah,
here and stuff.
yeah.
One of them was part of the video was on the movie Cats basically.
yeah.
So उसमें ऐसा था कि how far is the guy who's directing the movie from the VFX department?
Correct. Yeah.
He doesn't know how it works. He doesn't know. He apparently wanted at any point, he's walking on the road, उसको होटल जाना है, आज उसको एक रेंडर्ड शॉट चाहिए देखने को, इसको एक हाथ में रेंडर्ड शॉट चाहिए उसको. He doesn't know भाई फ्रेम बाय फ्रेम मेरे को काम करना है, मेरे को अगर बाल भी ऐसा करना है तो उस पे ये व्हाट इज दैट, ये प्राइम फोकस ऑन कार पे लोग बैठे हैं, मतलब आदमी ऐसा कॉफी पी के वो करेगा, पहले वो जाएगा न्यूयॉर्क उसका फाइल, उसका मतलब भाई ऐसा पूरा प्रोसेस है. मेरे को मतलब मैं बैठा है डिनर पे, मेरे को रेंडर्ड शॉट देखना क्या होता है. दैट्स हाउ ही डजंट नो. सो ही डजंट नो हाउ इट वर्क्स. तो दैट्स द थिंग. सो द क्रिएटर्स आर सो फार अवे फ्रॉम व्हाट दे बिलीव. स्टोरीज से दे आर फार ऑफ. हॉरर कॉमेडी चल रहा है इसलिए हॉरर कॉमेडी बनाना ऐसा नहीं होता है.
Yeah, if
You
you have a
should
story
really
to tell, then
story to
yeah.
tell. You love the genre. क्यों बन रहा है? Why is Taika Waititi making What We Do in the Shadows? No, he believes in the genre.
Yeah.
And what did he do? He didn't go for a Transylvanian thing. He said मैं खुद भी एक न्यूजीलैंडर,
Zealand
हाँ
को,
ये
हाँ,
करूँगा वो करूँगा.
But I just want to ask, so you talked about we have such a rich culture with folklore and deities and all of that. Don't you think we're playing too safe now? Like within Dulhe Raja, there is this thing where Johnny Lever mimics Lalu Prasad Yadav. They call him Kalu Prasad.
Kalu Prasad.
And like there's no secret who he's trying to mimic and wo kya jokes hai. Like I can't see that kind of a joke happening here. Even if you आप अमित शाह का समित शाह बना के भी जोक बनाओगे, nobody will touch that.
That apparently happened with some secret project recently. I think कुछ तो मैं सुन रहा है कि
But Kapil Sharma does these jokes on his show.
Does he?
अर्नब पे किया था, and अर्नब का जोक वो करते करते he had this whole news segment where he used to make all the celebs sit in छोटे छोटे डब्बास, and then he used to act like this news this guy, and then वो अर्नब I think एक sketch किया था उसने, और उसमें भी उसने 2-3 बार ऐसे hints दिए थे about the current and he उसका वो anti government है ये उसका पता चल जाता है even his special
he has the he's challenged अक्षय बोला ना अक्षय को चमचा बोला
yeah
Yes. But yeah, I was saying, is that one of the reasons also our comedy is suffering because we can't make fun of the authorities?
authority is one
हाँ,
authority तो एक चीज है
हाँ,
you know authority आप किसी जमाने में मतलब you'll वो क्या करना कहाँ तक पहुँचना है what is दूल्हे राजा doesn't even touch an authority right now it is first and
Yeah.
foremost about
your villain, quote unquote villain. I mean, the
Is
villain
also-
technically
is a
is
thought.
the Monish Bell character, but even the Kadar Khan character.
so
Yeah.
दूल्हे राजा also stands tells you a lot about how we think of poverty also like how we think of alleviating or getting like you know rid of poverty what
Yeah.
like recently pandemic में एक बहुत गंदी एक बहुत ही मतलब very disturbing clip emerged out of इंदौर मुझे भी याद है एक फ्रेंड ने मुझे बोला था इंदौर बहुत साफ है करके अभी साफ किया है ये किया है एंड देयर इज नो वेरी प्राउडली वाज डिक्लेयरिंग सिंग वहाँ पे कोई गरीब मतलब भिखारी नहीं है कोई नहीं है एंड आई वाज लाइक ओके ठीक है लाइक क्या
गरीब
करूँ
भिखारी को बचा हुआ खाना किसको देते हैं
खाने आई एम लाइक ठीक है ओके देन पैंडेमिक में एक वीडियो आता है ठीक है एंड इट इज अबाउट the authorities there the BMC of like Indore they're dumping people literally outside the city
Damn.
हमें गरीबी हटाओ हमारा गरीबों को हटाओ
हाँ,
we don't know how to do it
right.
we really don't know how to do it I saw this old couple outside the city limits उनको दिया क्या अभी ये होगा तो साफ ही होगा ना वहाँ पे that's why a movie like Purge also exists of course it's the most violent form of दूल्हे राजा but I mean, like वैसा है वो यही है दूल्हे राजा you think destroying his dhaba is the solution
Correct.
you think
he could
ultimately
have
that
also
whole thing,
improved his and he became so close to he came so close
he
to
does come
coming
close
to the
saying-
solution कि
Yeah.
भाई मैं रेट्स अगर कम करूंगा खाना अच्छा करूंगा तो क्या पता आ जाएगी but then गोविंदा ने उसका भी of course it was a very like
It was a very-
short term solution but and funny also
वो बहुत फनी है कि बोलता है कि मेरे होटल में काम करो मैं तुमको पगार दूंगा 20,000 बोला मेरे ढाबे में करो मैं 40 दूंगा तुमको इट्स वेरी फनी
Yeah.
बट दैट्स व्हाट इट इज अबाउट लाइक तुम्हें लगता है कि इसको हटाओ लाइक and they will get rid right like if I tell like Taj wants a सैंडविच वाला आउट ऑफ द एयर वो करेगा क्या पता मेरे खाई नहीं करके
yeah and इसके ऊपर कमेंट्री सिंगिस किंग में भी किया था डू यू रिमेंबर दिस वन सीन सिंगिस किंग में वो जब भी अक्षय कुमार वो डॉन के रोल में आता है तो इज लाइक कि मैं डॉन के जितने भी बच्चे कुछ काम है मैं वो खत्म कर दूंगा ठीक है एंड ही सेज दैट लाइक अ वेरी कॉर्पोरेट एम्प्लॉय कि हाँ वो बैकलॉग में क्लियर कर दूंगा तो देन दिस गाइज लाइक कि वो एक बड़े 5-स्टार होटल के सामने एक हॉट डॉग वाला है वो बिजनेस खा रखा है उसने तो प्लीज़ उसको हटाओ हाँ तो देन वो वहाँ पे जाता है एंड अक्षय कुमार बोलता है कि हाँ ठीक है हटवा दो अभी डॉन होकर इतना भी नहीं कर सकता क्या है जाते जाते कि अच्छा सुनो उसको हटाओ मत उसको किसी दूसरी अच्छी जगह पे रखो और उसको थोड़े पैसे भी दे दो तो वो जाते हैं वहाँ पे एंड वो पूरा ऐसे मूड में जाते हैं एंड देन बाद में वो हॉट डॉग बोला ऐसे बीवी प्रेग्नेंट और बाजू में 5 बच्चे खड़े
the part is where we if you just look around ना यार our idea of development is this ये नहीं करना है मतलब
इवन दैट लाइन के माइकल जैक्सन परफॉर्म करने आ रहा है तो उसको आपके ढाबे के वहाँ पे स्टेज लगाना है उसको
भाई ये सब है and that is what happens
Yeah.
right 90s में we couldn't get to the specifics
Right.
we couldn't say caste we couldn't class बोलते थे या जो भी बोलते थे गरीब बोलते थे जो भी we couldn't say a lot of things and pinpointing wouldn't be the solution in a comedy film तो हरमेश से जाने दे यहाँ इस फिल्म में तो मैं करूँगा नहीं क्योंकि और फिल्म में एड्रेस करना है तो देखेंगे कोई और कर रहा है वो उसके लिए है लोग और
एंड आल्सो रिलीजन पता नहीं तो गोविंदा भी आई रिमेम्बर वो कभी मराठी बोल रहा है पंजाबी बोल रहा है वो सब उसने ये लैंग्वेजेस कवर किए थे
विरार का there's everything
yeah
he's anyway like from Virar
So
he
you
is
can-
Punjabi I think he's Punjabi who but
वो जानो गोविंदा
yeah and so that's the thing so you know अगर ये होता आज भी सब एक रैली जा रहा है माइकल जैक्सन खुद अभी आ गया था his dhaba would have been destroyed right that's what he's his dhaba बीच में आ रहा हटाओ the day मेरी एरिया में the APJ Abdul Kalam was coming in 2006 झोपड़पट्टियाँ हटाए पूरे तो दैट इज लाइक ये सफाई तुम्हें अब याद आया मतलब वैसा ही है ना एंड वी थिंक टॉल बिल्डिंग्स आर द सॉल्यूशन पॉशर थिंग्स आर द सॉल्यूशन नहीं जिस आदमी को पता ही नहीं कि क्या है मतलब वहाँ पे लोग पड़े खा रहे हैं यार जो भी है सो इट was ultimately that was the back to write a script as good as Dulhe Raja. Also, you need a backbone this strong first.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also like that to establish Govinda's character, they use a corrupt cop played by Asrani, and then वो
That is
उसका
the best.
case लेता
That is
है.
one of the best establishing scenes ever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
yeah.
ये people's hero दिखाना है तो मैं अभी ऐसा बनाऊंगा. I'll teach cops. It's also a great ACAB moment.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
like बोले आज असरानी की मैं मारी दूंगा मतलब. And that is असरानी का brilliant scene है वो.
Yeah,
Brilliant scene है वो जब बोलता है कि like Sudhir asks saying क्या ये कुत्ते यहाँ क्या कर रहे हैं. He says अरे सर क्या भालती बाती का हमारा कुत्ते हैं, धूम कटे कुत्ते, कान कटे कुत्ते, खुजली वाले कुत्ते, बिना खुजली वाले कुत्ते, पट्टे वाले कुत्ते, बिना पट्टे. ओ सर इन कुत्तों को कैसे पकड़ा या तो ये हम जानते हैं कुत्ते हैं.
Oh yeah, वो literal कि सच में कुत्तों को
बहुत
पकड़
अच्छा
के
है
ले गया है.
That is a
That's
great
funny.
established way to say कि ये people's hero है. आज सीटियाँ बजी होंगे यार उस पे तो मतलब when it was being released and stuff. So वही है ultimately backbone नहीं है. You say why comedy suck right now? Backbone ही नहीं बनाते. एक आज मैं अगर comedy you tell me to write something एक horror comedy या कुछ भी है political comedy या whatever. It'll be just an ongoing script that actually has nothing to say. Like एक gags रहेंगे, बहुत सारे
Yeah.
gags और dialogue बाजी रहेंगी और funny रहेगा. And it'll have references like something from you have heard on WhatsApp or
Right,
Instagram and
right.
something. That's also mandate. थोड़ा ना relevant बनाओ. ये joke आजकल चलता नहीं है वैसा. वो अलग बात है.
Everybody has to give feedback.
हाँ
That's the
वो
problem.
एक तो वो है. Then मतलब पता नहीं यार. There's be just dialogue बाजी. The backbone is not there of what you want to say for. यहाँ पे you will root for Govinda's Dhaba, right?
Correct.
So that happened. And of course बाद में Kadar also understands where he comes from. And he also comes and says भाई है तो है तू मतलब चला अपना. Even after शादी you want to run the dhaba, it's fine.
Yeah.
So and मस्त था यार. It was gold trio. And one of the things I'm glad I was thinking of this point last night about like how you said you can't do anything much, and
Yeah.
I'm glad Kadar Khan missed this era. It would have disheartened him what's going on in the country and
Right, of
whatever.
course,
Like एक तो बाद में तो गोविंदा शायद own attitude and whatever like got to him, and वो तो मतलब काजी बन गया था. And you can understand like कितना उसको दुखा होगा कि to become a काजी. And like उसका story ही ऐसा है ना like कादर का, it had to reflect in, and that's why he was a good hero plus villain and a papa in that movie. Like
He's very often the conscience of the story.
very much.
Yeah.
You need a ये वही नहीं होता है. There are also why Dulhe Raja is good and why modern writers like can't modern writers also have the very bad habit of you have to understand like उनको बहुत नकारने की आदत है, राइट? लाइक पिछला है 90s का है तो गंदा ही होगा, या इट बी इट्स ऑफ अरे ये तभी कुछ भी चलता था, ये होता था, स्टॉकिंग होती थी, व्हाटएवर. एवरीथिंग इज अ प्रोडक्ट ऑफ इट्स जनरेशन, राइट? वैसा ही है. तो द राइटर्स ओल्ड आई हैव वर्कड विद अ वेरी ओल्ड स्कूल हेड राइटर राइट नाउ, एंड द वन थिंग आई लर्नड इज दैट उनके पास सेंसिबिलिटीज ऑब्वियसली नहीं होंगे, हमारी तरह नहीं होंगे, अलग जमाने के तो ठीक है जो भी है. Syntax है उनके पास. They have the syntax ready for the movie, and that from what you can learn from all of these is like the backbone, the spine of the movie, the syntax, and एक format है where you then put your place. वो at least उतना हो जाए तो आज comedy चल जाएगी.
Right. I don't know if it was you or someone else who posted this screenshot on Twitter कि Kadar Khan is playing a principal of a college और उसके सामने डब्बे रखे हुए हैं और हर डब्बे में लिखा है एब्सेंट होने का चंदा, इस चीज का चंदा है, एंड द लास्ट बॉक्स इज चंदा ना देने का चंदा. एंड that thing is there for a split second and I'm like यार हम लोग सिम्पसन्स का ऐसा पॉज करके देखते हैं सब इनसाइड जोक्स और ये
Boss,
Yeah.
Kadar is the boss, man. Kadar is the boss.
I think you also saw Amar Akbar Anthony on the big screen recently.
I loved it.
He did the dialogues for Amar Akbar Anthony.
I know.
Yeah.
I loved it. I miss that man so much. I wish I could meet him. I wish I could meet Govinda also, but I mean, with all of his idiosyncrasies, मुझे मिलना है एक दिन. And like Timangshu Dulhe once said in an interview, one of my reasons to come to Bombay is Govinda.
Right.
Like everybody wanted to work with this man because he could deliver and elevate your script.
Yeah.
Elevate is another thing.
It's like that lightning in a bottle type thing. The small things he does, like the one scene where Kadar Khan is trying to get him out of the door, and they're like, "Oh sir ji, oh sir ji, oh
That is
sir ji."
completely. How do you write that?
Exactly, yeah.
How do you write that?
Yeah.
ये लिखने वाली चीज नहीं है ना.
Yeah.
3 बार can you write it? Like 3 बार वो ओ सेठ जी करेगा.
हाँ.
That is Govinda.
Of
And बीच में
course.
उसको पहली बार वो लाता है.
हाँ.
Before he goes to the उसके पैसे लेकर बाहर.
Exactly, when he's showing off his wealth, he literally takes it off and hands it to the tax department.
Yeah.
उसके पहले when Govinda just comes in, there's no space or reason to even do that joke. कादर खान बोलते इधर बैठ, बोलते नहीं इधर क्या बॉम्ब रखा है, नहीं इधर क्या बॉम्ब रखा है. That's all Govinda यार.
Yeah.
कुछ स्पेस नहीं है. He still did it. There's no like there's always a room for another joke. Like it's the best middle finger you can give to the rich. Okay,
Right.
eat the rich वाला moment है. वो बोलता है कि मेरी कपड़ खोलता है कि बोलता है कि ये सारे मेरी बेटी के कपड़े, जिस कपड़े को एक बार वो उसने पहना है वो दोबारा पहनती नहीं. ये उनके जूते जिसमें पैर डालते हैं एक बार वो मतलब दोबारा पहनती नहीं. ये पेरिस से आता है, ये गहने है ये, एंड ये है, और ये एक मतलब करोड़ के ज्वेलरी है.
हाँ.
लेके भाग जाता है.
Yeah.
मेरे को क्या दिखा. एंड द बेस्ट लाइन ही आर सेइंग बाद में शादी के बाद मेरा ही बनेगा. क्या बोल रहे तू.
Yeah.
इट इज ब्रिलियंट यार.
और उसके बाद वो दो जोक के टैक्सी में बैठता है, बोलता है उसका पीछा करो, तो उसको
दैट इज द
छोड़ के
फर्स्ट
चला जाता
थिंग
है.
आई सॉ. आई रिमेंबर एज अ चाइल्ड. आई रिमेंबर मैंने देखा था.
Right.
I now very regret that very privileged idiot that I was in school not watching these movies, man. And everybody else, I have a very specific memory of me in my PT period. मैं से निकला हूँ and all other kids are dancing to राजा बाबू songs. मेरे को specific एक memory है. It's like मैं डब्बा लेके जा रहा हूँ और everybody is dancing. Like वो था यार, वो भी क्या picture है.
And also, like, if you now that you mentioned the whole Tijori wala scene, I just realized something that every scene, जो भी premise है वो movie, हर एक scene का जो premise है, that has been lifted from some serious Bollywood film. क्योंकि ये मूवी का पूरा पूरा मूवी का प्रेमिस है कि मतलब कि अमीर बाप की बेटी बिगड़ी हुई, वो किसी और से प्यार करती है, एंड ये जो लड़का है ये इससे प्यार करता है. ये पूरा जो that was the premise of so many tragic films in Bollywood.
Correct, yeah.
And romantic films also, कि मुझे भी इससे शादी करनी है, ये वो ऐसा वैसा, but then they have just like turned it around just to make fun of it.
सही है.
ये देखो, like if this was
that you mentioned it,
yeah, so अभी if you think about it, even the Tijori वाला scene, if this was any other Bollywood movie, तो उसके background में music बजता.
नहीं, they had to turn it. They even made sure in like David Dhawan movies में unfortunately there was one part where the heroine was इसको सबक सिखाना पड़ेगा. There's no सबक here also.
Yeah,
There's
thankfully there's
कुछ नहीं है.
Right.
वो खुद ही रियल. एंड ऑल्सो शी ऑल्सो आई लाइक हाउ उसको भी एजेंसी है थोड़ी बहुत, क्यों ना. शी ऑल्सो प्लेज हिम अराउंड गोविंदा को अच्छे से. एंड ऑल्सो गोविंदा इज नॉट लाइक कि मैं बदला लूंगा. इज लाइक कि तुम कैसे भी बिहेव किया आए तो
I'm telling you, the only good checklist that happened with that Harmish Malhotra did is that he said whatever David does मैं थोड़ा opposite कर लूँ.
Right.
मैं वो वैसा हुआ था वहाँ पे. That kind of tick mark cinema is the right kind of tick mark cinema.
Yeah. And Ravina Tandon also I have always enjoyed Ravina's casting with Govinda. If you think about it, she is थोड़ा like slightly huge. मतलब उसकी comparison में she's taller than him.
पंजाबी है ना टंडन, वो ये टॉल भी है.
तो and also she compliments him so well. Like गोविंदा का एनर्जी इधर है तो उसका भी इधर है.
Aseem, we're running out of time, so in conclusion I want to ask, so the reason I was saying कि हमने अब तक ये जो films की है, रंग दे बसंती, दिल चाहता है, and all of these, it was kind of easy for me to judge whether they have aged well or not, because like certain aspects of it seem old, certain aspects
Obviously,
of them don't.
yeah.
This is the first time I feel like certain aspects seem dated, but I'm still enjoying them.
Yeah.
The certain aspects, that dated part, ये obvious कौन से parts है, like the part where कोई एक ऐसा मतलब प्यार में वाला ये होगा, whatever, and the one where you need these scenes for them to fall in love or whatever. वो
Like
obviously
the whole stalkerish behavior of Govinda, and then it happens, romantic song happens, and the next thing you know, they are
in all of
love.
these also he's made sure he doesn't appear creepy. He just
Correct.
appears
Yeah.
frolicking and like जो भी है वैसा.
Right. So I'm gonna hand it over to you. I mean, do you think Dulhe Raja has aged well?
I see, because it's a movie. As I said, it's the movie where everything came together at the right time.
Right.
In terms of the right talent, the right writing team. Even the writing team is, if you like look back now, they've all written drama and action films only. Praful Parekh, Anwar Khan and Rajiv Kaul. I can't believe Rajiv Kaul made Jai Hind after this. Jai Hind also मतलब मनोज कुमार वाली जय हिंद, and that's a movie everybody has to like. I'm just like advising people कि जय हिंद एक बार दे. वो movie किसी की VCD या print हाथ में लगे बोल रहा हूँ. It's a B-grade movie which has.
Oh wow, that was. I thought Jain थोड़ा.
नहीं, it's a B-grade movie that has army atrocities. I can't believe like मनोज कुमार तभी थोड़ा उसका जाग गया था. हाँ वैसा है.
इसीलिए बाद में.
Exactly. That's when अच्छा. So I mean, I think.
But yeah, what you said, with corporate taking over everything, this is like a perfect example of the small guy holding his ground and not giving in and winning over the.
Something is happening
the
with
corporate interest.
That's the thing. So, like the part where it's. What is the question? Has it aged well, right?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, I mean, it was. I think everything right happened for Dulhe Raja in the writing team, the talent, the triad of these three people was also scattered. If you see in David Dunn movies, like aate the, jate the. So it had to be these three guys who saw that it's the most a very 80s spirited working class film, but had the flavor of David and ye tha, and went perfectly. And I think we need a Dulhe Raja today. If you like we discuss kya ho raha hai.
If done with the same authenticity.
इस पे अगर आप वो backbone निकाल लो, then there's no meaning to make this.
So maybe current problems अभी जो what we are facing as a society, it doesn't need to be political also.
It
If
doesn't
you
even
take that, वो अगर उसका
That's the thing. So
backbone रखे.
when we speak about political, we think कि एक particular leader को गाली देना.
Yeah, there are.
Dulhe Raja doesn't even do that. Dulhe Raja questions a system and a thought.
Correct.
ये I am pretty sure this movie has pissed off some of my uncles and stuff because अरे but वो ढाबा उधर ही क्यों उसको लगाना है ऐसा उनको बोला होगा. Right.
Yeah.
वो ढाबा उधर उसको लगाना because he has no space that is meant for the ढाबा to come up.
Yeah.
Understand why a hawker zone pops up, right? तो वैसा ही है. So it had probably pissed off people back then. It'll piss off people now कि अरे hotels look better than dhabas. यार वो मुझे पता है तो.
More hygienic also, no.
हाँ वो वाला ये सब this has happened.
Aseem wants to build an Oyo over the hotel. That is just so.
that happened when the movie released. That has been happening when the movie was not there, and it will happen again.
Yeah.
When the movie is made now. But if you only know what is the importance of that happened, like the part where I know the movie doesn't like scan over it like a political movie should, but वो है inherently है, and it will piss off. It has. I'm telling you, it has pissed off. If my uncle warned you about a Govinda movie, it's also because in the back of his head, this movie has told him like that.
Correct. Yeah.
कि भाई अरे होटल के बाहर क्यों लगाते लोग ऐसा वही है ना.
And also they might also find a flaw in the part कि पर ये गोविंदा बार ऐसा क्यों बोलता है कि तेरी दौलत भी मेरी दौलत है, ये भी तो गोल्ड डिगर हुआ.
सब है ये सब these
And
things.
I find it really great when a man is shown as a gold digger. I'm like yes, when he accepts इसकी मैं भी गोल्ड डिगर हूँ.
बहुत अच्छा है यार.
That
मैं
is
बोल रहा
amazing.
ना the movie. I don't know who is the perfect guy to make a slapstick. तो हमें आता नहीं है. Slapstick has to be brought back in a way where see they also understood कि David Dunn used to make he's also the king of slapstick, and he used to space out his gags. That's why it worked. This is the first time it was slapstick in a way where it was
One after the other and sketch like tha. The gags weren't somebody falling on like ये. वो क्या funny smoothly एक gag है जहाँ पे वो ड्रीम सीक्वेंस में गया गाने पे like Govinda has gone in a dream sequence. वो he's imagining himself with Ravina dancing और बाद में वो अपने धुन में somebody slaps him. वो wing से गिरता है and he falls right on the master G's feet. but वो कितना funnily किया है यार. वो बहुत ही funny है. So it is I don't know if can we अभी बनाओगे तो slapstick कैसे होगा मेरे को अंदाजा ही नहीं है. शायद से because this current slew of slapstick films like Judwa and all these Judwa 2 and all
very
these.
bad.
I mean, Coolie #1, the remake. I didn't see
Varun
but I heard
Dhawan
only
cannot
bad
do
things
comedy
about it.
for shit. Varun
I was
Dhawan is-
recently for the podcast watching Coolie #1 again, and I cannot tell you how smoothly Coolie #1, the old one, flows.
Right.
The screenplay flows like this. He has a
Yeah.
reason for Sadashiv Amrapurkar to take the revenge and stuff.
Yeah.
The hair.
एंड
revenge
अभी के मूवीज में स्पेशली जुड़वा एंड नंबर में यू कैन इमेजिन कि ये शॉट के पहले सब लोग इंग्लिश में बात कर रहे थे
हाँ, and
एंड सडनली स्विच मेरा स्टारबक्स से कॉफी अरे भैया लेकिन थोड़ा और गोविंदा अरे भैया थोड़ा और गोविंदा अरे भैया अरे और कैसे करूँ सो यू कैन सी द फ्रस्ट्रेशन एंड द यू नो द वो ऐसा
तो मुझे-
जेन्युइन नहीं लगता कुछ भी
ये कितना लेजी चीज है ना, लाइक द पार्ट वेयर यू थिंक कि द फर्स्ट मूवी वाज मेड इन स्लैपस्टिक, तो मुझे यहाँ पे वही करना पड़ेगा, जॉनर रेप्लिकेशन करना पड़ेगा. नाउ इफ यू डूइंग दैट, यू मेक श्योर दैट वन सीन इज स्मूथ एंड वन ये है. नेक्स्ट हर सीन में वो कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं है, लाइक यू डोंट हैव टू मेक इट लाइक अ हाउसफुल और व्हाटएवर, लाइक वैसा है ना. हर सीन में वो नहीं हो सकता, तभी हो सकता था बिकॉज पीपल सॉ इट कि मैं आज जा रहा हूँ स्लैपस्टिक मूवी देखने के लिए.
Okay.
सो दैट्स द थिंग. सो मेरा
Cool.
वही था.
Urjita, we've given our kind of verdict. If you had to rate not Coolie number 1, Dulhe Raja on a rewatchability scale of 1 to 10, where
I
would you
would
put
just
it?
like to say don't watch it with a frown on your face. Then you won't
मैं तो
enjoy
बहुत
it.
हंसा.
नहीं अरे
बहुत
भाई
हंसा.
मम्मी
Yeah.
मतलब है.
It's very funny. So initially, मेरा भी थोड़ा वो था on कि यार लड़की को harass करा stalk है, and I was like, you know what, let's just forget that for a while and let's enjoy the movie for what it is. So I feel like for some movies you can do that. I don't know. I can change my opinion in the future also. You never know. But yeah, as of now though I enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Aseem, for joining us. We will have a detailed discussion about the cinema that you were talking about in the first half.
Soonest.
Yes. Where can one find you on Twitter and Instagram? Please give
I
out your
am at the rate
handles.
Baba Jogeshwari on Twitter, and on Instagram I am Baba Jogeshwari TV right now.
Okay.
Yes.
Please follow Aseem. He's very, very interesting Twitter and Instagram timeline.
Yeah.
Urjita, where can one find you?
On Instagram, Urjita @Urjita Vani, and on Twitter, don't follow me. Urjita on Instagram @Urjita Vani.
You were going to say something before.
And yeah, I was going to say that for those of you who don't know, who haven't figured this out yet, Aseem was the guy behind the very viral Pratik Kuhad mimicry video.
Yes, 3 years of that. I recently I'm like oh, FB memories में I'm like oh shit, this thing is 3 years old now.
Yeah,
Man.
that वो WhatsApp पे भी
man.
आया था मुझे वो
Oh,
video.
shit.
Nice.
So,
And you can follow me on Twitter at Abbas Momin and Abbas Momin88 on Instagram. Thank you so much, Aseem, once
Thank
again.
you.
And
This was nice.
I really want to have you back on an episode where we can nerd out a little more about about movies in general. Thank you for joining us. Please hit the subscribe button if you're watching this on YouTube. Press the bell icon and check out all the other videos on the IVM Pop channel as well. If you're listening to this on an audio platform, please rate us, review us, say good things about us so that our podcast can reach more people. With that, thank you so much. We will catch you next week. Till then, bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye bye.